What's up, everybody? Week 13 is in the books, and what a week it was. We saw some bloodshed. We saw a division get wrapped up. We saw controversy. We saw upsets, and we saw statement victories. Overall, tremendous week. Really stepping it up with all the drama going on. With only 1 week to go into these playoffs, it's craziness. Four teams now vying for the last spot. Can't wait to get to all of this. It's going to be so epic. Let's roll the theme song. All right, so here's what happened. With losses, Eric and Sam were eliminated from the playoffs. Their best hope right now is to just rekindle and get ready for the consolation bracket. It's still important. It's still a nice way to end off your season if you weren't quite satisfied. So, fantasy season is not over for you guys, but the playoffs are. While Spencer Pianga did come up short, losses from both Trevor and Matt still give him an outside shot at the playoffs. I would say that Spencer Opie's playoff bid is secured, barring a fantasy disaster of astronomical proportions, as he's over 100 points ahead of the next place team, which is Matt. So even if Spencer Opie loses, it would just be astronomical for him for somebody else to score 100 more points than him in week 14. And I'll talk about all those scenarios in the preview episode, but that was just a little sneak peek. Ben's victory and my loss keeps his hopes of a regular season league championship and a bye week and the Division 1 championship still alive. So that's going to be a crazy matchup in week 14, me versus Ben. And then Mike's win locks him into a first round bye and a Division 2 championship. So there you go, Mike. You did it. So congrats to you. All right, we got our recap. Trevor versus Dwayne. Controversy. The details, they come out at the last second here as I'm writing the show. And in some last-minute shenanigans that rival Ted Cruz pulling Ben Carson into a broom closet right before the Iowa caucus debates in 2016, Spencer Pianga pulled some strings and got Dwayne to fix his lineup ahead of Week 13. As a result, Dwayne saw huge numbers out of Derek Carr and Marvin Jones. And despite Dwayne's lineup changes, Trevor only needed some consistent and stable play from his starters. With Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki being his high scorer for the week, it's safe to say that this wasn't the case for Trevor. Just couldn't get the production and ultimately is the low scorer of the week, putting the pressure on him significantly going into his matchup with Spencer Opie. Next one we had Alex and Eric. This was an upset alert game, but Alex was apparently so confident in his team they decided to start Joe Burrow, who is out with a season-ending injury in the quarterback position. His core wide receivers of Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, and DK Metcalf combined for 71 points, and it's just tough to beat that when three of your players are putting that up. And if you get consistent play, which he got, I would say even more consistent play out of the rest of his team, it makes him a formidable foe in this fantasy league. But no shame on Eric. Had a very productive week with phenomenal play from Aaron Rodgers, James Robinson, and Corey Davis, but it just wasn't enough to beat Alex the Powerhouse. With a team as stacked as his is, Alex is currently the clear front runner in the 2020 playoffs in my eyes. He also has Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones. The dude's looking really, really solid. Moving on to week 14 and into the playoffs. It looks like Eric could finally be getting C-Mac back for week 14 and can hopefully help him make some waves in the consolation bracket. Then we had Mike versus Sam. Another game I had an upset alert. Similar stories here. Sam had a tremendous week when it was all on the line, just as Eric did, but it just wasn't enough to get by Mike. For Sam, Tannehill had an explosive day, but her other two Titans just couldn't get the breakthrough that she was hoping for. Mike saw 78 fantasy points scored between Josh Allen and tight end Darren Waller, with 45 out of a tight end. Even Travis Kelce doesn't see that kind of stuff happen most of the time. I don't even know if he's had a 40-plus point game. So, Mike, excellent start with Darren Waller there. That was almost half of your 161-point total, which earns you Coach of the Week. So, there you go. Hats off to that, as well as being the Division 2 champion, as I said. So you went out and improved yourself, and you got the job done. All right. Then we had Spencer versus Spencer. Spencer Opie saw huge numbers out of Matt Stafford and all day Adrian Peterson this week, as well as Steelers wide receiver Deontay Johnson. Breakout night for him as the Washington football team put heavy coverage on Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool, allowing Johnson to find many solid targets. Pianga had a really solid Sunday afternoon with Kirk Cousins, Chris Carson, and the Dolphins defense, but it just wasn't enough to hold off the Monday night push from rival Spencer Opie. The next one, okay. This is my first time ever having to do this show on a loss, so, it's a little bit of a different feeling. But Jamie secures her redemption over me with clutch performances from Melvin Gordon, Stephon Diggs, and Julio Jones. I don't know if you guys have seen The Scorpion King, but we might as well be calling Jamie the Scorpion Queen because this loss stung. So congrats to you, Jamie, on the win. Big Ben was even able to crack 20 points despite a rough matchup against the Washington football team. For myself, Mahomes and Kelsey did what Mahomes and Kelsey do, but the rest of my team fell flat on their face. It just wasn't meant to be in Week 13. Juju and Chase couldn't get open on Monday evening, as well as an abysmal rushing game. Benny Snell could only muster up 10 yards on 10 carries, left me high and dry there. I'm relieved to get this loss out of the way as I prepare for my 4-game winning streak that is necessary to win the Fantasy Super Bowl. I got it out of the way, and it's only smooth sailing from here, and it really just makes things really epic for me and Ben. So it was good for ratings and viewership, I'd say. Lastly, game of the week, Ben versus Matt. Ben rolled to a 40-point victory with an extraordinary showing from the Patriots defense of 29 points. Also, like as usual, Dalvin Cook stood up and did what he had to do, and Deshaun Watson got a 22-point game for Ben. He just had a very Ben type of week, getting to 140 points, and that's what you got to do down the stretch. He also started J.D. McKissic for the Washington football team, who stepped up in the absence of Antonio Gibson. That really did hurt Trevor as well in his matchup against Dwayne, but McKissic came in to get the carries after that first quarter injury to Gibson, and he also managed to get about 17 points for Ben as well. This win sees Ben notch 6 in a row, longest streak out of any team in the season in this league. So Ben, really awesome, and he's got a chance to go undefeated in this complete second half of the season if he beats me. So, Ben, I know you looked down and out when you were sitting at 3-4 after Week 7. You lost to Dwayne, and then you proved yourself. So congrats to you. Another rough weekend for Matt. Sees him drop 3 straight. You got to feel for the guy who was the leading scorer in the league for such a long time. Matt's just going to need to see his string of bad luck come to an end next week in order to make it into the playoffs. And he's got Eric, who's got C-Mac coming back, like I said, So, Matt, good luck to you, bud. Hope things turn around for you. And good luck to everybody else who's vying for a playoff position or trying to get a bye week. That would be Ben or myself. So even good luck to me. Good luck to Ben. There's your recap. I'll have a preview coming out tomorrow or Friday, maybe even Saturday. As I said in the group chat earlier, I passed my last test, and I got my degree. So I have to start job searching and all that jazz. So I'll get to the preview episode when it's convenient. But other than that, have a good night, and we'll see you soon.